All right. Can you guys hear me? Good morning. Um, so what I wanted to talk about this morning was all of these trips that I've been on recently. Um, Visiting TLC people, just making the rounds. It's been amazing. Um, and I think something that keeps coming up for me is how to make everything that's happened, like how to make it matter, like how to take it home with me, how to integrate it into my life because I feel like I've just encountered so much beauty and so much wonder. And there's this like desire to, like I said in my title, to like take the sand from the beach and like bring it home and say, look at this beauty that I have brought home. But I think there's a part of me that realizes that the sand that's in my pocket is not the beach. Like that, an object that I'm bringing back, that's not it. And so, how to be like fully changed by the things that I'm encountering or the conversations that we had. And I just wanted to have hopefully a little discussion on how to realize that the sand in our pocket is not the beauty that we actually saw, like how to actually take this idea of paradise or this idea of, I don't know, um, beauty and actually like bring it and into ourselves and be changed by it. So I was just curious if this is something that you guys have experienced before, where you think, "Oh, I've taken a picture. Now I get it. I know it. It's a part of me." And then you realize it hasn't really been fully integrated into who you are. It hasn't really changed you. You just have the object of it. You just have brought the idea with you, but it's not actually with you and of you. Does that make sense?
Would you agree that in OG and I mean they're the perfect example for this. Um, I would surmise that you guys legitimately talked about so much stuff that it's impossible for it to have not changed you. And so like the inside stuff is definitely different, right? Even if it was a smaller snippet of time, and obviously the more time you spend with people, the more you get more of that connection, more you rub off on each other, so maybe it's more resident. But um but yeah, I would think that would be the case now.
Well, I mean, I even just think about it as like, neurologically, like when you meet someone for the first time or like you hear something for the first time, your brain literally makes like a new connection. Your biology necessarily changes. You are a little like slightly different. Your worldview is slightly clearer or potentially like scarier because you see more of it. And so it like opens itself up to you. So I definitely think that you are necessarily changed by it, like whether you want to be or not. But it's just how to make that like matter, how to not just say, oh, I like get that now, but how to actually live as though what has happened. Does that make sense? Like I feel like we like to say we've like accomplished something or have gotten through some sort of like journey, and we say that it's like, oh, I am a nurse, I am a doctor, and you're like changed by it. But at some point, it's like if you're not actually doing it, it's just like a badge for you, right? And so, like, how can we not just have like a badge of saying, oh, I was changed by OG Rose, and actually live a life that represents the change that has happened? Something more like that.
Well, I'm thinking about practice. So,
Mm.
who was the guy that took a bunch of sand back so that he could put it on the temple floor because his job was to like help his boss worship an idol. Do you remember that story? He takes like bags of dirt back. That's actually where I thought you were going with this. He gets transformed, and um, he knows that the God of Israel was the true God, and he didn't want to. But he leaves, and that's the last time you hear about him in the Bible. And so I think there's something with the practice. One of the things. Well, I'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah, do you know much about that story, Brett? I don't know if I can really speak on it too much. Brett might be frozen.
I can't remember. I can't remember. Are you talking about a pagan temple? Is what it was?
Yeah, he was like a servant of a king in another land or something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was basically, if I remember correctly, it was something to do with the narrative that he was going to be bowing down to a foreign god, and he was using this as a way to signal that when he bows down, he's actually not bowing down to his God. He's actually bowing down to the real God, I think is what it was. So it was like a subconscious thing for him to remember what he's doing, and he actively, if I remember the story correctly, I think I was trying to look it up.
Yeah, so like one thing that I was thinking about was like you have now with you, to Brett's point, after having spent time with certain individuals, it's going to flavor the conversations that you participate in with these people in a different way. And I don't know if you're necessarily going to know the fullness of it until you start engaging like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, because like it almost brings me to that idea of like allowing that I was discussing with you a while back, Scott, of like how do you, instead of saying like, oh, I want to represent myself in a way that feels correct in my being changed by these people, how do you just allow what is going to, come through that interaction just to happen in my next conversation? Like how does it matter? How do I allow it to matter without making it matter for myself? That's the whole, like, I'm trying to take something from this beauty that I've seen. I'm trying to recreate it somewhere else. And it's like necessarily not going to be the same thing. Like how does one give proper, I don't know, like honor to something without like putting it up on a pedestal or making it a thing? Does this make sense what I'm trying to say? It feels, I don't know. It's like the process of making something matter feels like a heavy one on my soul recently, because like I feel like I've seen things that are incredibly high in, like, they're mattering to me when I'm in it, and then I'm like coming back to earth. It feels like, I think I was saying that to you yesterday. It's like, and I don't want to forget about it. Like I don't want to just write it off as this is something that was just a one-off of like, oh, this fun vacation 1-2 days that I've had. Like, it's like, how do I have the faith that what matters will just change me instead of having to try to make it matter? But is that giving it enough?
Don't you think it's
honor?
automatically? Don't you think it's automatically going to change you? I mean, like, you're not even going to notice it until you have an interaction with somebody, right? Until you start getting in community with someone else, you're going to find all of a sudden a saying from that conversation might slip out, or a perspective from something Michelle had said that really resonated with you. You're able to kind of share with someone else, or so, like, it may not seem like these massive things, but we almost don't, you know how it is, we don't even realize our words matter and like something small that resonated with you that one of them had said starts carrying over in a storyline that you might have going forward into the future, where all of a sudden you're kind of sharing that experience without even explicitly sharing it. And I think, to your point, I think we just kind of minimize those things. Like, I think about everything that anytime I say something or I quote something or if it's even in the remote chance that it has any kind of wisdom behind it, it came from somewhere else. It didn't come from me, like somewhere in my past, I learned this thing, and somewhere in my, background, other than sirens, it came, uh, it came, I had that come from somewhere. It didn't just come in my own head.
Yeah, I might also add that sometimes we don't know the significance of things until much later. It's just been kind of my thing. But I think you're in the right frame of mind, though, to have respect for a moment and recognize that it was a moment. Like you recognize that there was a rose on your path, and you stopped and you took a look. Just making space in yourself to be able to do that, and then waiting and seeing how it grows within you. I'd be curious to, like maybe your interactions with their channel would increase, and then some of the richness that comes out of having now met them, much like what happened with us. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and we did. I mean, I didn't know exactly how that was going to go, or you know what I mean, in terms of our relationship now compared to what it was pre
Sure.
hug.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Good morning, Olson.
Morning. Sorry, I'm late. My headphones died on me there. Sorry.
Not a worry whatsoever. Do you have any feelings about any of the things we've talked about or otherwise this morning?
Sorry, like I said, my headphones, so I couldn't like listen without like disrupting
Oh,
quiet.
fair.
So I'm just hopping on and going with you as you guys go now. Glad to
Perfect.
be with you.
Perfect.
Your guys' conversation yesterday was so good. I was watching it in the evening as I was going to sleep, and I was like, there would be parts where I'd be like, oh, hey, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, that's the recording.
I saw that comment.
So it's good.
I hate that. I hate when I'm watching a video after the fact and I'm like, oh, I wish I could have jumped in and said something.
It was fun. It was great getting to see you guys talk and riff and stuff. So, yeah, just glad you had a fun time. Did you really have sand in your pockets?
No, I do have a lot of stuff I got to bring home though. I have like objects that I brought with me. They gave me books.
Oh,
I get to read their books.
All right. They have
so
a fair
fun.
number of books, don't they? Like, how many do they have published?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, they're so prolific.
Yeah, it's nuts. It makes me the idea. This is also something that came up, and I was talking with Scott and Brett about yesterday. It's like this idea of like comparison is such a wild thing. Like I think, and what I was trying to explain was that I think when it's something beautiful, like there's a necessary comparison that happens because you have to notice that that is like of a different quality than something else. Like you're necessarily like saying, whoa, that is different than this. And it's like, then you're asking yourself, oh, well, at least I do, or the conscious mind does say like, oh, why is that feeling so amazing? It's like, oh, because I'm at a place where like that doesn't exist for me. just like naturally. And so there's this weird like, wow, that's beautiful. And then you're like, I don't have that, or that isn't a part of me normally. And so then there's this weird next jump to comparing like, oh, what am I doing? What am I not doing? Instead of
Yeah.
just noticing the
Yeah.
beauty.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I found then what I had to do, like the next leap was then like, and it's not always easy, but you could do it. And is then to be like thankful for them, like put yourself like, boy, I'm really thankful that they have that opportunity, or they have those things, right? Like, thank you, God, that they get to have that, they get to experience that, they get to curate that, like they've cultivated that. Like, thank you that they've worked hard or whatever, like there's all
Mm.
sorts of millions of things, and get to experience that and just try to be thankful. Like I've mentioned before, we had, we still have, so it's not like a have, we have infertility. And um and so for a while through that grieving process, you'd see people who would be having children and
Mm.
and baby announcements and things like that. And so you gotta, like, so that's where that practice came from, is like, I can't, I saw that resentfulness start to build in my heart, and I'm just like, I can't be resentful to my friends forever that they get to have a beautiful child, right? Like,
Right.
that's not something that is going to be good for my heart long term. So I need to, I was like, God, I don't know what to do with this. And so that's kind of what he helped train me in thinking. I don't know, there could probably be other ways, but
I love that. I think that's why the gratitude talk felt so like resonant to me yesterday, of like that does feel like that's the next step, because it shouldn't be like, oh, let me try to, remake this or take this and have it. It's like, it's almost like sometimes these things are not, and in the way it is that you see the beauty, sometimes it actually is not for you. It's not supposed to be for you in that way. It's supposed to be something that is inspiring what you will do next. Like, it can be something that you do take into your life in particular. Like, how do I say this? Like, when I was talking to Michelle and I was talking to her about this, like, almost like uh, this envy or something that I was feeling about being in that space. She like asked the question of like, is this really like, do you actually want this? Like, is this what you actually want? And I was like, well, I mean, maybe, I guess, like, because then you have to think about all the things that come with that life or that experience, or like how to cultivate that. And it's like, it is a very different life, or a very different situation that I would be in. Like, everything I would have to be her, literally. I would have to be like, and so, but I don't want to be her, I want to be me. And there's something about being like, we need people like her, and we need also people like me, and we need people like you, and we need people like Brett, and you're right. And so it's like, how do you then try to see like the almost like the deeper themes behind it? Like, so there has to be almost something bigger than that, like something like, does that make sense? Like, it's almost like you have to be grateful that you are seeing another piece of the puzzle, not like needing to be that piece. Because if you don't be your own piece, then then there is no bigger picture. There is no like larger essence or something more along those lines. So I like that idea of being grateful to see a bigger picture of the world, of the puzzle,
yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that.
no, that's great. I was driving down the road of life, and literally a road. And in the mornings I often get to see these beautiful sunrises and like filtering through the clouds and stuff. And the other day I was like enjoying it, and I was like, oh, I wish I could just like hold on to this thought and memory and stuff, and got kind of going through the process. But slightly different because it's, you know, God and sunsets and stuff, or sunrises. and and it occurred to me like that. I was like, thank you, God, for letting me be in that position to see and experience that. But then I also realized like that cloud and that sun interacting like they're doing, that wasn't for me. Like that's a general thing that he has going on. Like the world is spinning, those clouds are going whether I'm there or not. And
Right.
so you know, it's like be thankful in those moments, but it's something greater than me.
It's not
Mhm.
not for you though.
Right. It's
Mhm.
it's not for me. But it's not a what's the, so there's general revelation, not revelation, but provision, and then I don't know, there's a theological term for
Yeah,
it.
it ought to probably be approached with humility, definitely, but
Mhm.
in both ways, I think, because yeah, I think basically what that explains to me is my theology in a nutshell.
Chad, when you were cutting your bagel, at first I didn't see the bagel, and I was like, "What is he doing with that knife?" And then I was like,
He's
"Oh,
cutting his hand.
it's a bagel." Okay, all right, gotcha. I'm gonna get a bagel now too, pretty quick. What else do you have there?
I got meats and cheeses.
Meats and cheeses. There you
I
go.
did that wrong. Meats and cheese.
Meats and cheese. All right.
Dude, the this stuff is great from Sam's Club. It's really good.
Sam's Club.
Yeah,
Do you go to the Piggledy Wiggledies?
I do go to Piggly Wiggly. I do.
That's
They
like
have
my
really
favorite
good
grocery.
steaks.
That's my favorite grocery store name.
Yes. This literally rolls off the tongue. Oh my gosh. I love it.
So anyhow,
Good morning, Ian. Oh yeah.
oh,
I just want to say
sorry.
good morning to Chad and Ian. How are you guys doing?
Very good. Very
Doing
good.
well. I
I'm
think
Betamaxing. I just want you to know. Go ahead.
I think I wanted to hop in on this conversation because it's about at least the title is about like going places and trying to bring things with you. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like in my life I've dragged things with me that didn't like help where I was going. You know, like when you go for a camping trip and you're like, what are we going to need? And I don't want to bring one extra thing that we don't need. Or there's some people that are like, we should bring everything that we have and then we won't need anything. And
Mhm.
there's like different ways of approaching life and whatever. So anyway, the title made me think about Abraham as the guy that's like searching for a land with eternal foundations. And I liked the way that you were talking, Megan, about meeting Michelle or meeting with Scott and Brett, or just like everybody in this new space and not being able to like be them. But I think it's like you can live according to a shared set of governing principles. That would be like the kingdom of heaven in my mind. And then you don't have to be them, but you can contribute to the, you know, whatever you call that, like the domain of the principles of TLC, kingdom of heaven, whatever. And that helps you to bring what you got, but also set down things that aren't contributing to that society in a meaningful way.
What do you think about it being helpful to look at maybe a negative version of what you experienced? So, like, think about somebody in your past that had a negative impact because they told you something and you bought into something, right? And you're like,
Mhm.
and then you saw how that ripple effect, that you actually had to unlearn that. You had to realize, wait a minute, what I bought into there was a lie, and therefore I need to rethink how I'm seeing this thing again. Like, because
Yeah.
sometimes you get to a place and you're like, oh, eureka, and then you start living life and you realize this perspective on this thing doesn't work, and then all of a sudden now my whole religious experience is horrible. It's everything about church is horrible. Well, there was a particular thing I bought into, and maybe I need to relook at that and maybe consider that I was wrong, and that's horrible,
Mm.
right? Like, to think you're wrong. Now I settled on something, and now I have to kind of reorientate myself. So it's like seeing the compare and contrast between light and dark. Like, you don't know what dark is if you didn't have light. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get a little abstract, like for Ian's purposes.
But-
I,
and-
The most,
I I was just gonna say, just as like a caveat here, I also I hate to always make it like a gender thing, but there's like something about like this because I feel like we're speaking to discernment here. Like I almost feel like we're speaking to this idea of like being able to see what I should hold and not hold on to, and what matches the the telos of the space or the telos of the next space I want to cultivate or something like that. And I almost feel like, especially because we are literally talking about it, and this is like something that women used to just do and not talk about doing, whereas like in a male space I feel like there's like almost a sorting out in order to have discernment. I almost feel like this feels like a new territory for me. Like this feels like something that might be somewhat obvious, I guess, to you all, is what I'm trying to say. And I I don't know. It might not be as obvious for me, and so I think this is really helpful. So I just want to put that out there as like I don't know if I've encountered how to properly get discernment like this in a very like talking about it way, if that makes any sense.
what are
How
we
would you
talking
get
about?
discernment about it before?
What is it? I'm lost.
Yeah, no. So okay, so Ian and Brett seem to be talking about the two sides of like essentially what to bring into this space or what to let go of this space. And what I mean is like if I value like the people who I'm talking to, if I value them as like I want them to be the inspiration in my environment to create to help to create me and themselves in the future, to create a community that seems to be like, I don't know, a better one in the future. There's like something about taking in or letting go of the proper things in order to create that vision of like a better community. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's like something about what to hold on to, what to get rid of. That feels like a discernment. And and like I think when I think of what I don't know what women used to do or what women, again, I don't want to make it like a woman thing, but there was something about just
you don't have to
being
like.
and
You don't.
and
Yeah.
doing that was like that wasn't having to be talked about. Like you didn't have to explain how to like run a household. You just like ran a household. You didn't have to like decide. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was like, last night, and it shall go unnamed. Anyhow, somebody contacted me from the corner, and they're like, they wanted to have a private conversation, so I did, and I'm glad I did. But I also became like, the discernment for me there is something like, if what this person is saying is true, then orthodoxy is ridiculous. And it makes me want to like, it makes me kind of happy about my like where I am, but also it has me questioning like I don't understand this concept of like of being like yeah. So anyways, that's my yeah. Sorry. I think I got off track. I am Betamaxing.
You know the movie Big Hero 6, Chad? Have you ever seen that?
Nope.
It's a kids movie. The main guy is like this inflatable helper friend, and his name's
Yeah.
Baymax. So that's what I keep thinking when you say that. I'm
Yeah, I was
Baymaxing.
gonna say. You're not like trying to call me a big inflatable dude, are you?
No, a helper. I'm calling you a helper.
Hooper.
Megan, I was
I
gonna
would.
say, I think. Wait, sorry, Scott. I
It's
gotta
okay.
start shopping. So I'm gonna say that I think that there's like a generational relational transmission of discernment. So it's like the vertical is female, and then the horizontal is male. So like we do the talking and the they're like punching each other. What's going on? What are we doing about this? And then, but the feminine transmission of like this is how it's been done for hundreds of years, food preparation and medicine and child rearing. And so like psychology even has like taken over these different things, has siloed them off. Scott and I talked about this. It was great fun. uh and so it's like the importance of having that generational transfer of information, of wisdom, um
Mhm.
leads to a lack of discernment. I think that's what I would say. And I'm gonna hang up and listen. Love you guys.
Thanks, Ian.
Later,
Thanks.
helper.
Yeah. I would just like to reiterate the 2 points. One is sometimes we don't. It's great to notice that something is significant, but oftentimes we don't know how significant it is until
Mhm.
sometime down the road. And as things get incorporated or your life unfolds in a way where the profoundness of the thing really kind of comes to light. And so that leads me to just encourage you again that the fact that you have recognized a significance is sometimes enough, right? And that then allows you to just be in the moment and notice the sweet fragrance that has come about in the situation, and 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 then you can just let it do the thing that it does, which
Mhm.
is quite frankly beautiful.
I love that.
Chad, you're so loud. I'm surprised you're not waking the whole house up.
Eureka!
He's on his way to becoming a Midwest dad.
Eureka! It's only loud because the earbud is right here. See?
Yeah.
Is that loud?
I see.
Is that loud?
Yeah, Jeff is saying that you're doing the ASMR for us this morning, Chad.
Well, I tried to mute it before, but I mean, I did
Hi,
mute it.
Scott.
Bye, Scott.
Yes, Scott.
So wise. Brett mentioned something that kind of got me thinking, a slightly fringe road path on the highway we're going down, frontage road path. And it goes back to that PBK's rando with Becky, and something I haven't heard a lot about is she had that dream, that really moving dream, and that's been talked about a lot, but she had, like, she went into a moment of like silence and not feeling anything and like removed. And so I think part of and what brought that into this, the idea of this context is like, even with these small things, you should still, like, that's another thing to be thankful for, is because sometimes you don't always get those feelings. Sometimes it is silence. And and so even the fact that you could be aware of it and rejoice in it and be thankful for it is a good thing. The lack of it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong though either. So
Mm.
I don't know. I just thought.
Yeah, it
No, that's
reminds me of Thomas, you know, the whole conversation, right? Like he's like, it's almost like he's talking, it just feels like he's talking to Thomas, but it seems like he's pointing out to like these people that are going to be reading this in the future. You guys are going to believe even though you don't see. And so like there's these moments where when people put so much emphasis on a feeling, or so much emphasis on, and I've had these moments where it's so close with in this context God, right, like so close with him, and I felt like, you know, he was everywhere, and like I was chasing feelings, but it was a time in life, right, where I was having this connection, and then like what Olson said, I felt like this quietness, kind of like what Becky was talking about, but in a different way. But it was really allowing me to like look at, okay, so what does this mean to you? You know, like what is this relationship that you know exists between you and your creator mean to you? And so now it's like, you know, helping to connect dots, you know, and it's like, can I believe this if I'm not constantly having goosebumps or signals, you know, or signs that I'm interpreting as signs, and maybe they are signs, right? Like, but like, do I have to have them, you know? And it's like, no, I don't. I'd be okay, you know, like this is the conversation I have with God. It's like, no, I'm okay with wherever you know, whatever you have me in, even if I think you're quiet in it, I know you're still there. I know you're still participating, and that's what I choose to believe. So I love that. You know, for me, because it's I don't know, it seems more real. Like what Becky was saying is more real, you know, for a lot of people. And if they don't get the thing, you know, everybody's looking for the thing, like what other people are talking about. They're getting goosebumps. They're feeling this. They're hearing God. They're, you know, seeing, you know, demons cast out. You know, that's not that none of that stuff happens, right? It's just that's all they're looking for that in their life in order for them to have that connection, right? And I just feel like you're almost kind of missing the connection in a weird way. I mean, I know that's not reassuring. You know, I know that doesn't warm the heart, you know, to think of that. But I don't know. What do you think?
Perhaps what I'm struggling with, at least in this moment, is this almost like, I don't know if you guys feel this like after we talk, but there's almost this like influx of like libidinal energy, like life energy. Like I sometimes like leave conversations where I'm like, I have more energy after the fact. And I feel like you know, I don't know if it's because, well, I don't know, like my personality or what, but I feel like when I have this inspiration, I feel like I need to direct it into something that is like good and worthy of that, because I have almost like an excess. It's almost like I was given like an excess. Like my cup is not just full, but I have like more. And there's almost this like need then to say, okay, where is this then going? Because energy is not just gonna like stay, it's gonna like move somewhere. And so it's like, where am I directing this? And it almost feels like for me this, I don't know if it's like an anxiety or a fear or like but there's like a buildup of this energy, and I'm like, okay, so where am I going to put this? Where does this live now? And I feel like I have to make a decision which is great and beautiful. And I love that responsibility. Like that's, I think, what we were given is this responsibility of where is your energy going to go? But I feel like I have so much of it right now, and I'm trying to say what is good. And I think that's why, like, as I mentioned the like woman versus man thing, because it's like I almost feel like I'm supposed to submit to something that I know to be good. I'm supposed to look at something and say, oh wow, this is what I'm going to help to grow. And I don't know if I can, like, I don't know where it's going to be right now. And so I just feel like I have this excess and I want it to go somewhere good. I want to build something amazing, and I want it to be in line with where the energy came from in the first place, because that's what made it. That was what the goodness that created this in the first place. And so I want to direct it somewhere proper or something. And I'm like struggling with that process, with where to go, with how to hold it, with how to, how to just be with it without, and then the fear of, well, if I don't do anything with it, is it just gonna wither away and die? Am I gonna lose the opportunity to like build something? I don't know. This is all the things that is going through my head. I don't know.
You're just going through. To me, it's like you're going through what all of its disciples went through. You just go through what we are all going through. It's like this idea of. I used to have this, especially like early in my recovery, where I was like I would have these really beautiful like moments, insights. It'd be like maybe talking with somebody, or I'd have like these really super big God moments or God conscious moments, and I would like be feeling so good, and then like just something would come through and crash through the wall and make it like try and kind of like distract me away from it. And like what I realized was like um, two things. One thing is my desire to kind of hold on to the sand or hold on to the moment. And then when I
Mhm.
feel like the sand has gone through my fingers, well, I must have done something wrong or something. And like this
Right.
kind of like egotistical kind of
Mm.
like perspective that I should be able to do, to physically interact with the world and spiritually interact in the world in such a way that I never have to feel these uncomfortable growing pains. And when I feel the uncomfortable growing pains, it's because I'm doing something wrong or something. And it's like
Mhm.
I think this is kind of like when my thinking on the Job thing is like every time I think about Job, I feel like he had this kind of internal knowing that if he did all the right things, he wouldn't have to suffer. And to me, that's kind of like anti-being. Even Jesus suffered; he didn't sin.
Mm.
So like it's like the suffering is a piece, is like it's a part of the fabric of reality, at least of this reality. And so yeah, I would yeah. And then when you're just describing kind of like what do I do with it? Like I was just thinking of like Judas a little bit. Like he's like, what are you guys doing? Why are you selling this stuff? We should be using, or why are you giving this oil? Why are you letting him give this oil away? We should be selling it. It's like you got these different things that we should
Mm.
be doing, and these kind of like very, very human tendencies to grasp what we find to be very precious, and we don't want to see it gone to waste. Well, I mean, we don't know the mind of God. We don't really understand his economy, and so I think wherever you land, wherever you go, he will be there. That's my
Mm.
thinking on the thing. I know that sounds really, really fluffy and shit, but it's like if you approach the world with humility, I think if you find a way to approach the world with humility and to act humble in the world and to be gracious towards others, you will still encounter strife, pain, disappointment, joy,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of the things, no matter where you go. And I think you will encounter him. And on the times we feel like he's abandoned us, I think that is a call to stay, regardless of what we think we feel. Um, it comes and goes.
You know what I was thinking, Megan? You remember that story you told about walking the dogs through the path,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
you realized you were hyper focused and you just missed half the journey. And it's like, what did I just miss? But I kind of makes me think of the whole smelling the roses, like Scott talking about picking up the rose in the path, OG rose, and like symbolism. But it reminded me of the fact that you know you're walking, and you almost get all the way through, but like you all of a sudden you do have an awareness what just happened. So there's like value to the fact that that just happened. So like looking around and now being able to appreciate that spot you're standing in at a much deeper level because of the thing that you just walked by willy-nilly, but it's not that you still can't enjoy it, right? Instead of looking
Yeah.
saying, God, I missed all that opportunity back there. It's like, no, you just were given the eyes to see that you even missed it at all. I mean, can you imagine walking all the way through it, getting into your car, and then having that wherewithal? It's like, no. And so I think like sometimes the journey, you have those awarenesses faster in the walk with the dogs, and the more that, these things are integrating in you, it just seems like they're just more noticeable, quicker and quicker and quicker, you know?
Mm.
The one thing that Becky's story talked to me about was that the lady that did the rando, in-person rando with PBK or whatever, was be careful what you ask for,
Yeah.
because like she ended up having
Yes.
this son, and there, I tell you what, there's nothing. My whole life I thought I wouldn't want to have kids because it's unethical, blah blah blah, and then I thought I missed out on
Mm.
that, and it broke my heart. And then Carolyn came along, and then the most unkind thought came along, which is that someday she will die.
Mm.
And I had to, like, I didn't know that this never crossed my mind, that this sort of a feeling or thought would cross my mind, where I would have to, I had to squarely confront and wrestle with and mourn the loss of my daughter, though I hope I never have to actually experience that loss. And that was very powerful. And it was like, and I didn't even think that was even before she was born. Where I was like, my goodness, someday this creature is going to die. This beautiful, and that really freaked me out. So it's like there's things that are on the other side of experiences that you cannot plan for. There's no way that you can plan for that kind of a revelation to arrive. So yeah, life is riddled with those.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change it.
So I was in Christian summer camp parlance, right? It's what you're just. It seems like you're describing is what we call like a mountaintop experience. Like you go and you have like this awesome experience, and then you're coming down and you have all this new insight or whatever, and you're like, now what kind of situation here, and which is perfectly normal. So what you're going through is perfectly normal. You're not um,
You're probably
Yeah.
the only one who's ever
I'm
done
not crazy.
you're not
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, you are, but probably not for
I'm
this reason.
special, Chad. Come on.
Yeah. This is why we keep all
Um,
talking. We're like, we don't know what to tell you. Yeah, this is new.
but the so it reminds me of Luke 9, specifically 28 through 36. That's where the idea of mountaintop comes from, and it's the story of the transfiguration. But I encourage you to just go read it. Context is Jesus with the disciples. He just fed the 5,000. Then Peter confesses that he's the Messiah. Jesus tells him, "Don't tell anybody." And then they go up on this mountain, and I'll let you read about it and process it and go through it. And then they come down, and there's another healing, but the disciples can't do it. And then there's they get an argument who's the greatest, and then they go to a Samaritan village, and they're like, "Oh, now we got all this power, and we're gonna cast out all these. We're gonna smite these Samaritans." And she's like, "No, we're not gonna do that." And then all these other people come to Jesus and say, "Hey, I'm gonna follow you." I mean, Jesus like, "Are you sure? You sure you want to follow me?" And then he sends out 72. So it's kind of, that's like he sends out, I think it was 12 the first time, right? 12
Mm.
feed, does a couple of things, mountaintop, and then they come down, they mess up, and then he sends them out again, right? And so yeah, I think that's a good thing to read and to contemplate. It's your homework for the day.
Appreciate that, Wilson. Like I said, I need my energy directed somewhere. So you're giving me something. Thank you. You listened. I needed that. Ian, you're back in the space. Did you have something you wanted to add?
I do. It's too early for me to stay on track, so I probably joined for a different reason than what I'm gonna say now. But you mentioned the libidinal energy, so like moving out into the world, and I wondered about Chad's example of the revelation that his sweet baby daughter is going to die one day. I have a tiny anecdote of a spiritual leader early in my Christian formation. He told a story of like having his two sons, and they're maybe like 3 and 1 or something like that. And just one day he was just like overwhelmed, like shaking with fear about the fact that God could just take them from him. And I think that it was supposed to be like some sort of recognition of God's like he's all powerful or whatever. And then to me, it sounded like bad theology. But it is true that they could have died at any point. And I guess some people would say like, and that's like God's prerogative. But I'm wondering about that as sort of like an opposite of libidinal energy. Like you have sort of a humble, impotent energy, like you're like, well, I cannot do anything about this. And I don't know if that's helpful to kick around as a contrast with like, where do I put this energy? But it seemed a little bit like that, where it's like, sometimes you're full of energy and you want to go do something, and that's one question of like what to do. And then other times you're in a place where it's like, I can't do anything, and that's actually true. Like, but I just keep going. And I think in those spaces, what it was making me think of is I have a brother and I have a friend going through divorce, and they're different because they're 4 different people were involved in these marriages, and and my brother has kids and my friend didn't, and they're both young. My friend's a year older than me, and my brother's 3 years younger than me, and I think that there's a lot of this like impotent energy of like their wives were the transgressors in these cases and continue to be that way towards them. And um, like you can't do anything about it. But that valley. So yeah, just to wrap up, Olson said mountaintop experience is often contrasted with the valley, and I was thinking, well, really, life is more of like a prairie. Like it's like there's nothing going on. It's not like the valley of the shadow of death if you're not having a spiritual high.
Mm,
It's like
mm,
the boredom of a plain, and like, all right, everything's the same, and well, the grass is nice, or at least it was for 15 miles ago, and I'm just gonna keep going here, and like
And here's a
maybe I see
tornado.
it. Yeah, yeah, some snakes and whatever. But like those things make it exciting. But the valleys are also instructive, or not to be sought, but like they're where transformation happens. Like you can have that powerful mountaintop experience, but you can also have the powerful valley experience. And then in between is sort of where we're looking to discern, like, so do I head towards the valley or towards the mountain, or I think you just keep walking forward, and whatever comes, you got to find some sort of like equilibrium or equanimity, or there's lots of work for balance.
I just wanted to say, I want to hear Stephanie because I'm happy she's on.
Just wrapping up.
I just wanted to say, I had a friend of mine who was a really big leader in the men's Christian movement when I was growing up. He was a father to a couple of my friends. He had 5 kids, and he has such amazing faith in God, and his faith literally got tested because he lost one of his kids when he was a freshman in college, and it was an unfortunate situation. It should have never happened, but it did. And there was this huge trial for him, like emotionally, like this whole process, and the way that he responded to it was like, normal. Like you saw the grief, but you also saw him work through the grief, and probably because he had tools to work with, right, and to deal with that. But you'd think, okay, it's like a Job situation. Okay, enough's enough, right? Well, now he ended up losing his oldest daughter to cancer, and it was like, so out of his 5 kids, he ended up losing 2 of his 5 kids. And obviously a parent should never have to go through something like that. I mean, just 1, let alone 2. And it's like he's not as he's not, doesn't lead men's groups and stuff like that anymore. He's not what he was in that way, but he's definitely something that I still look up to because of him still having faith, him still knowing God's sovereign through all of it, and that some of these kids, I babysat one of them when I was a kid. It's like, I think, like, golly, like, to have that connection with these individuals and to see what they brought into the life and how beautiful what the experience that we had with them, and the connection we had with them, and he's the one that reminds me of those things. So it's like how we respond to tragedy sometimes is even more testimonial than the tragedy itself too, and the impact they had when they were here and the impact they had on the people that survive it, and again, it's not, I get it, it's not consoling. Nobody wants to think of these things. It's like horrible stuff to think about, but if you're trying to see God's handiwork in these things, it's hard to not see those beauties, to not look for them. That's the life I don't want to live.
mm. Good morning, Steph.
Good morning, Megan, and everybody else. So I overslept, and then I only listened to the last 10 minutes, and I looked at the comments, and so I came in to say something, but I'm not even sure it's on point.
That's okay.
Are
Direct
you
us.
Are you okay? Can somebody summarize what here's what I think the question was that I came to answer. I don't know if it even exists. The question
Love it.
was Megan has had a mountaintop experience. She's got a lot of energy and she's not sure where to put it. Is this so far? Am I on track? And then
That's
there's
correct.
something about submission. Now, this part I need a little more clear. Like, is that, am I picking that up correctly? That you or the female role in this, or how to?
I guess
What does
I
it have to do
used
with your femaleness?
I guess I had the idea of submission just because of, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily have to be the female role necessarily, but just the idea of like trying. I think of submission as like trying not to grasp on so much, like letting what's going to be like almost like the same way of submitting to like nature, like it, like
Mhm.
as in like I can't control that. I ought not think I can control that is sort of the reason why I use that idea of submission, not necessarily the
Good. Yeah.
female aspect of it, but it's like how to, yeah, because I you're correct, and I do have this, this amount of energy, and I feel like I don't want it to just, wither and die. Like I feel like I have this weird responsibility, but also I want to stay in this sort of like humble state of like, who am I to say I can even control this and make it what it quote unquote needs to be? Like that also feels
Yeah.
like a ridiculous thing to think that that's my role too. And so
Yeah.
how to find that balance of like not just like ignoring the beauty of what is there, but also not trying to like make it into some things, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yep.
that
I think
sort
I'm
of
on track. Okay. My simple. This is so simple. I
so
mean,
fix
simple.
everything, Steph. Thank you. Yep.
No, it doesn't. It's just a stupid little anecdote. But well, no, it's not stupid. What it is I was thinking about when I found myself in those places where I have a lot of energy, I might have some anxiety, but I feel something is about to happen. I just have prayed like, God, lead me, use me, let me. Sometimes it sounds so sanctimonious, but sometimes I just pray, let me be a blessing to someone that makes me humble. In that prayer, I become more humble, and then it has never failed that something will it will happen. Somebody will come along and ask me for something or ask me to do something, or I see something that needs to be done that I can do, and then I just do it. And that to me is the submission part in a way, right? But it has to, for me, it's like that's the stance is, God, just use me, because
Mm,
I'm here. I'm here. And I think that has worked in my life anyway. But it's also gotten me to the point where I was signed up for too much volunteering and too many things, where at some point I had to pull back. But
mm.
it is never, it's never not. There's always something that comes up that needs to be done that I feel I can be a part of and help. So I don't know if that's helpful at all, but that's maybe just a starting point for where you are right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Is that too
definitely feels like
simplistic?
a call. Well, it definitely feels like a call to faith. Like it definitely is like like I need to, yeah, that, yeah. No, it does help.
Like
It
a
does help.
call to trust him that he will
Yes.
put these circumstances in your way. Or put them before you. You will, these opportunities will emerge and find you.
Yeah.
You know that you don't have to be so. Yeah, it doesn't have to come from you. It will come to you.
I also feel
You
like
could
this
trust
feels
that.
like a different type of like struggle. Like I feel like people talk about, horrible things that are happening in their life that are like testing them. And this feels
Yeah.
almost like I've used the phrase like first world problem, but it's like I feel so blessed by this and I
Hmm.
don't know what to do with it. It's like
Hmm.
who says like, oh, I'm struggling with what to do with all this goodness in my life. Like how you know what I mean? Like that sounds weird to like complain. Like I'm not
Well,
complaining about it, but I feel like there's something to attend to. But I don't know how to say that without basically bragging that I feel good right now. Like I don't know.
isn't it
Yeah, I mean, I would
ironic?
say if you wanna like really, that's a completely interesting topic. I didn't know that that's what we're actually talking about. Um, but yeah, I mean, find if you really feel that way for real, like then I would say find opportunities to give it away. like you have to actively go out there and find where to serve. I mean, that's it. I mean,
Because
that
through
way you won't.
serving, you grow.
Yeah, yeah, and then you won't feel bad because you feel good.
That sounds so
You know,
silly though, doesn't it? Like, I don't
No,
know.
you'll
it's
be
not
like,
silly. It's
Isn't
not
this like
silly.
but that guilt that you feel like, I don't feel like that's I don't think that's of God, right? You know, like I feel like that's like a societal thing that's more recent kind of thing, where it's like you can't feel good stuff because we know of all the bad things happening in the world.
well, I mean, there's that too, but I also think that sometimes it's like I know, like, I want to see myself being useful, you know,
Mm,
and so I think that's part of some of that sometimes. Like, if I see myself doing a bunch of bad shit, then I should probably feel bad, right? I probably shouldn't feel good. But if I see myself doing genuinely, you know, um, going out there and being of service, then I can feel good or bad. It's fine.
mm,
Um, and and then, but like the problem is, I think what you're saying, uh, Olson, is like, yeah, I don't think spirituality is like 1+1 thing. It's not an input output thing. I'm not saying go out there and do good work so you feel good. It's more uh, it's like embodying a particular balance so that so I feel more secure in what I'm doing here. That's all. It's like I don't want to feel like a taker. I'm not being a taker, but I don't want to feel like one. You know what I mean?
mm, mhm.
I think there's that also. I mean, I think the feeling of I can't even believe how lucky I am, or that guilt that I can't believe God would love me enough to bring me this gift. I think we just don't feel worthy is
Mhm,
part of what you're expressing
mhm.
potentially. Um, and then we're missing out, by through that guilt that kind of takes away from that tremendous joy that we have in this moment. So I'm like, enjoy the heck out of it, Megan.
Yeah, well,
don't
yeah, and
don't
that's
miss it.
and that's a well, exactly. I don't know if it's a guilt thing. It's more like I'm almost like trying to properly receive it. Like I almost feel like
Yeah.
he's telling me over and over like that I am worthy of getting and receiving this. Like I don't think it was because he doesn't believe that I'm supposed to have it. Like I'm actually believing that I'm supposed to have this, but because but I feel this pressure of sorts of like he is like showing me that he believes in me in some way. Like because I'm believing in him, he is showing that he believes in me, and I don't know what to do with that. I don't know. Like I feel like I don't know if it's guilt. I don't think so. I don't know if it's
Okay.
like but it feels like I ought to do something with this. Like
Do
this feels
do
like
things that bring you joy.
yeah,
No, seriously,
Yeah.
do things
this
that bring you, because
Well.
like, right, I was thinking as you were talking, it's like a little kid gets a huge gift at Christmas, and what do? They like spend time with it, and they run around and they tell everybody about it, and like they're they have all this pent up energy, and they just go and they're just active and they just participate and do the things that bring them joy.
mm,
Yes, I think that's true. But then there's also the problem of the meaning crisis thing is there are all these toys that are stacked up in the closet that you haven't played with for you played with them for the first 2 weeks and then they got stuffed away in the closet. So like I think this is kind of like a problem, like where if we don't find a place to express um, our gratitude and kind of like find ways uh, to yeah to I don't know, like to be his servant, then you have all this problem of like stacking up all these different kinds of things, and then I think that's like the actual problem of the meaning crisis. It's like I got all this. I mean that's like I think the meaning crisis itself comes out of, let's say, from materialist point of view, like there's like, we got everything that we ever wanted, except how to connect with others. And because of that, I'm stuck on myself and I'm dying. And I don't know that but I feel like everything is dying. I feel everything's meaningless. It's like I'm suffering inside of that because that only happens in affluent cultures. So like, what if you have like this kind of like spiritual affluence that you're, not uh, uh, being a channel for, I guess. You see what I'm getting at? So
Uh,
I don't know.
so
What
so
about
it
what about actually getting involved with a young girl and sharing these things that you're experiencing, like passing it on, like Chad always talks about, you can't keep what you don't, what you can't keep what you don't give away, like what Olson was saying, get involved with somebody, enjoy what
yeah,
you love.
that's what I was thinking. Is that in some sense, like the love that you receive, the joy that you receive, it's like it can't properly be received without being passed on. And then I just thought of like the model of uh, parents and children. Like you naturally have a loving relationship, and then a child is produced and sent out, like automatically sent out from the mother, after 9 months, and then raised to be sent out again. And so it's like this process of transformation. That's the wrong word. Like transmission. Like that's a necessary part of how people receive the gifts that they're being given. I guess that was my thought.
Ian, I was thinking about along those lines too. A couple things. One is I'm blessed by Megan right now, this morning. That just her sharing this experience is a blessing to me. I
Yeah.
think it's wonderful. So it doesn't have to be this big grand. You got to go volunteer or solve a huge problem. That's
Right.
not what I'm saying. And then also, I was reflecting on. I wrote something in our little signal thing last night, but I was reflecting on my years of observing the TLC and watching people's faith journeys and where they've wound up over years, over the span of years. Chad, I remember you before. I mean, I think you were just first married to Anne, and I just remember Grimm over all these years and different people and how much they've grown, and it's such a blessing to watch that. And somebody will watch this at some point and see Megan, and then we'll look back in 5 years and think, wow, look what happened, So you got to take a long view in a way, but just you're blessing everybody right now by sharing that you're having this moment. And everybody's sharing their tremendous wisdom and their life experiences with you. And these are all blessings for me. They're all blessings for me, and I think for others too.
Yeah, that's
I think
wisdom.
that you should actually just do nothing, keep it all for yourself, and let God take care of the rest.
And that's why
Yeah.
that's why. Did you say beta maxing? Is that a word I heard when I first
I
opened
just
the
make it
stream?
up. I made it up.
Beta maxing.
Do nothing and
Yeah,
then pay the consequences for that. There's two ways of doing this.
Go ahead.
I think
Ian.
it's like I think it's like whatever you feel like in the reception of the events and feelings and all of that. It's like you kind of have to feel those things 100%. I know people get weird about feelings, but it's like it's not so much just the feelings that I'm talking about. It's like if you feel like you're receiving joy here in your life at this moment, then you kind of have to just feel that and then celebrate and worship and share, like everything that we're talking about very sincere, earnestly, like this is the moment that I'm in. And then other times we got on the topic of the valleys and the trials and the tragedies of life. And it's like at those times, I think you have to feel those things like that too. I think there's this strange thing of like, if I'm not learning a lesson from my tragedy, then it will be all for a waste. But then when you're actually in a tragedy, it's like, wow, this does not feel like a learnable lesson. Like we're very overwhelming. And then in the joyful times, it's like, well, if it's not making me start a nonprofit or
Yeah.
invest in my local community, then what the hell was the purpose of this joy that I felt? And I think that's a, a product of modernity, where it's like, well, if we can't have connection, then at least we can have higher GDP or better living conditions or whatever. And it's like,
Mm.
I think that the way that we can connect is if we all were to tap into the experience that we're actually sharing. Like that people have their own individual perspective on the experience of life, but I don't think that it's this big different thing for each person. I think that we all live and move and have our being in God, and He participates with us in that being, and we can encounter Him through honesty and earnestness about our experience. So your joy right now is an experience of life,
Mm.
and that's it. Like, there doesn't have to be a fallout. It's being incorporated into your being as you live and move and have your being.
Just go to church.
I
Go
got
to church.
Yeah.
sorry guys. I gotta go. Thank
Bye,
you.
Olson.
Thank you.
Bye, Olson.
And
Be an
we can
ortho
wrap
bro.
up pretty. I'll just say this one thing. What Ian was saying kind of reminded me of like, almost like, okay, like does going on a walk have to be because I'm training for a marathon, or can it be because it's moving the energy through my body and it just like kind of feels good to like remember that that's how much I'm supposed to be using my body. And so I say that because it almost feels like what I want to get away from this, or what I would think I want people to also get away from this joy that I'm feeling, is that when we have conversations like this, when we have connections like this, it moves this energy like through us, like it, and it's supposed to go through us. It's not supposed to stay in here. It is supposed to be like moving through and connecting with other people, and it doesn't have to be for a specific thing. Like you said, like I don't have to go and start a nonprofit for it. It could just be to like represent that like moving energy through you makes you remember that you're alive and that this matters, and that this connection and the working out of your muscles or the talking to Stephanie, like that it makes you feel good to be in like participation with that. Like I almost feel like maybe for me it's just a reminder that like this does matter. Like what we're doing does translate to the movement of energy, and it can just be, at least for now, just that, and be like like good and happy and enjoy of that in some way.
Can I?
But then
Can
I
I?
also wanted to
Can I? I just want to push back. I want to say. I want to
Ooh.
say, if I were to change the term energy to spirit, and I would say that it is kind of selfish to have this spirit flowing through me and not allow it to reflect and shine to everyone else. It doesn't mean you have to start a nonprofit, but to allow it to impact other people in a positive way, I think is a glorious thing, to hold on to it and just say, this is just for my benefit. I think is very modern Protestant, it's my special, what Becky was saying, my special relationship with Jesus. It's all for me. And it's like, well,
Mhm.
yes and no. I mean, it is a special relationship, but like there may be a special point to that special relationship that's even bigger than just me. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to go and conquer the world and, do all those type of things. I'm just saying, just let somebody see a little bit of it. I think it would be
Yeah.
I'll push back.
amazing. It would even make it even better.
I'll push back on your pushback, Brett, but I think you got to start your own stream here.
Don't be selfish.
Well, I mean, that's why I said just go fail, and then if you're earnest, you'll know that you've done something that is against the spirit. You know what I mean? So you can always go become a nun. Just do that. That's like
Okay, it's time to end the stream.
That's like you know, like
We've
that's
solved
like the
it.
chick version of
Drop the
Ortho
mic.
Bros.
Okay,
And-
I'm sorry, Chad.
and I
There's,
hope-
I know there's deep wisdom in that, but I'm like, no.
I also
He was
wanna,
being
like,
sarcastic, I think.
Unless you
I
want
also
to.
think I also think it's important to note that, like, I don't know if this was obvious, but like, we don't need like a specific answer to this. Like, it's not like I needed to make sure, I leave from here knowing exactly what to do. Because I don't think that there is a perfect answer to it. But I appreciate all of the suggestions.
There'll be a perfect answer for you, and we'll find out what it is eventually.
Awesome. Well, does anyone want last words? We can go around. Brett, what do you got?
No, that's it. Let your light shine, little bee.
Oh, love it. All right, Chad, go.
Go read We Agnostics.
All right, Ian, what do you got?
Oh, I don't know. Something like,
Can't hear him.
Oh, I can. It's okay, Steph. I'll get to you.
the
Go ahead,
the
Ian.
more that we can experience life and maybe live it together, I think then we can find the meaning and purpose that we're talking about. Like I've been just thinking about how the constraints of relationship with other people kind of guide us into some of the discernment we were talking about, some of even just the
Right.
ability to hold the burdens that we're talking about. And I actually agree with what Brett's saying. I just don't think that what I was trying to express is different than that. I think that you need to experience life and receive it as your own
Mm.
blessing and as your own trial, and then it becomes a part of you so that you can genuinely love
Right.
someone and be able to shine
Right.
that light. So that's a last word.
Well
Thank
said.
you, Ian. I appreciate it. All right, Steph, what do you got?
Hey, I didn't hear a word of what Ian said. StreamYard was acting up, so I'll have to listen back. But you guys were nodding your heads, so it must have been great.
He agreed with me.
Oh, I thought
That's
you
all
agreed
that
with
Brett
me.
cared about.
B, here's my B. Just go pollinate today. Bye.
Love it. Love it. Thank you guys so much. I think Chris is already done with his stream, but go be happy. Go be in joy. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.